Alrighty, everyone. So we have a wonderful speaker today. Tony Hunt is a God-fearing, positive self-talker born in Omaha, Nebraska, attended first grade in Hawthorne, California, and he pushed himself through college, real estate school, and law school. His main focus is to impact the lives of many people as possible by using AI technology in a positive way. And here today, he'll be speaking to us about positive self-talk. Tony, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning and happy belated Easter, everybody. First off, really want people to get this message. Be the most positive person you know. Be the most positive person you know. Because if you look at the world society today, and everyone has an opinion. A lot of people have an opinion about this and about that. Meet a lot of people who already know this and already know that, and it's just helter skelter out here in the world. And what I'm going to do is actually link my question to what I'm going to talk about, because the message, and this is not scripted, this introduction, by the way. And in law school, the first thing they taught us, have your introduction. It's like English 101. But I kind of go off the grid when it comes to positive self-talk, because I have not always been a positive self-talker. And that is, we've all been sending messages to our parents, to our siblings, to the, before you even get to siblings, whatever year you were born, you came out self-talking. What is this place? Who hit me? Who's going to take care of me? Help! And some people call it whining. Some people call it crying, whatever. But you started sending messages to your mom in the womb. Doctors will tell you that. And your mom was sending you messages. And whoever she was communicating with, you received those messages. If doctors and psychologists will tell you, if you have been in maybe a broken home where there was violence, a lot of curse words, a lot of noise, just that affects the child in the womb. On the other hand, if you were that person who was listening to classical music, they say your child is going to be an intellectual. But fast forwarding, and I don't want to get down that rabbit hole because I know there could be questions on all that. Excuse me. But the topic is going to be the messages you're not only sending to everyone else, but the message you're sending to yourself first. And from childhood to 15 years ago, when you didn't make the baseball team, or you didn't make the cheerleading team, or you did make the baseball team and you did make the cheerleading team. Maybe 5 years ago, when you thought about getting in business, but you talked yourself out of it, or it just wasn't the right time. Or maybe 5 months ago, when you took a leap of faith and augmented your business. How about 5 minutes ago? What were you saying? Well, I already know about positivity. What's this guy going to tell me I don't already know? Well, 5 seconds ago, he might have something to say. My point is, since childhood and birth, and you guys, time out, you guys already know this, but I got to say it. Joe beat me to it. I always have a tagline when I talk about this subject. Bad stuff in, bad stuff out. Good stuff in, good stuff out. There's a difference without a doubt. So when you can control what goes in here, in the eye gate, in the ear gate, by all means, this is a must. Let it be positive. Please, if you get nothing else from what I'm about to talk about, please get that message. What you're going to allow into your eye and ear gate is going to affect you consciously and subconsciously. So people who are and by the way, I'm still in my introduction. How much time do I have, Christina? Am I okay?
Yes, you have until technically 10:15, and I'm not sure if you're sharing slides, but we don't have any.
No, I'm not sharing slides.
Okay, cool.
So, okay.
Yeah. 15.
I usually, I start off, I'm going to go off the grid here. Again, I like to live off the grid. When you do the opposite of the majority, you normally be right. I learned that the hard way. And I like to start off and everyone breathe, sit up straight, hold it. Let it out. Because I'm about to tell you a joke. You're going to need that wind. And I'm going, and since Anna was at the Saturday event I spoke at, I am going to give a different joke. And in fact, I'm going to let Anna, my guest, give the okay. Anna, should I talk about the joke from Saturday or give them a new one? I got a new one.
You know what surprised me?
It surprised. Okay, I'll give you a new one. Okay, guys. There's a paper boy. I love this is my favorite because I was a paper boy. So I've learned how to deal with authority. I've learned how to, that's when we could count our own money back in the day. And you had to be responsible. I had to deliver my newspapers before I got to play and all that good stuff. So, I've kind of been born an entrepreneur, so to speak. That said, there's this really cold, wintry morning. And the little boy is about the age I was when I started, about 5 years old, just helping, not really in charge of anything, just kind of following along and being told what to do. And it was so cold. He was so excited to go help his dad deliver newspapers. He forgot his gloves. And so he did get to pull the wagon. And so he's pulling the wagon and his dad looks, no, oh man, you don't have your gloves. Hold on, I'm gonna run back and get your gloves. Stay here and watch the newspapers. So it's a blundery cold day. And the little boy wants, he's very assertive, very positive. He wants to impress his dad. All little boys want to impress their dad. Look, Dad, look, Mom, I did it. So he's thinking to himself, I'm going to just pull the wagon to the next house. Remember, it's stacked full of newspapers. He pulls the wagon. It's so heavy, he's using both hands. But the wagon tips over. And the newspapers are all in the street, blowing all over the place. And the little kid is frustrated. He's trying to grab all the newspapers and get them back in the wagon before his dad gets back. And his dad gets back and he goes, son, are you okay? Notice the question. The first question was, are you okay? No mention of the newspapers yet. Are you okay? Yeah, Dad, the newspapers are everywhere. I'm sorry. He said, don't worry, son, we'll get them. Put your gloves on and we'll get the newspapers. So he puts his gloves on and gets the newspapers. And he goes, Dad, I'm sorry. I wanted to prove to you that I'm a man and I can do it. He goes, son, don't worry about it. But listen, when you were pulling the wagon, did you use all of your strength? He goes, yeah, Dad, I used all my strength. Did you use all of your strength? Dad, I used both hands. Son, did you use all? You know how little kids get frustrated? Some adults get frustrated if you ask the same question over and over again. Because Dad, yes, I says, son, you did not use all your strength. What do you mean, Dad? I used all of my strength. Says, son, if you had used all of your strength, you would have asked me for help. How many people are so self-contained, know everything already, can't get anything in here because they've got access to technology and they can do it all on their own and they can make judgments on people, because I'm experienced, I've seen that, and I know this, and I'm successful. And all I'm asking, though, is what I'm about to go through some bullet points is that you use your mind like an umbrella. It works better when it's open. Would you agree? So that said, we're talking about rewiring the brain, sending in, it's kind of like whenever there's something negative and you overwhelm it with something positive, it swallows it up. I don't know if you guys watch the 10 Commandments. I've been watching that for 40 years and I watch it every year. I even bought the CD. And one of my favorite parts is when Moses throws the rod down and other guys, the two magicians, throw down their rods, and one snake, the rods turned into snake, and one snake devours the other two. That's kind of how I look at positive thinking. When that negative, and you can't stop raindrops from falling on your head. You can't stop birds from building a nest on top of your head, but you can stop them from nesting there. Don't let it grow and fester. So that said, when I talk about rewiring the brain, it's got to be messages. I heard someone the other day that said something that made me cringe. They go, 80% of your business is here. 20% of your business. There is no percentage. 100% of what you do, act, have, believe is here. 100%. And that said, I heard some, by the way, I want to compliment you guys and commend you on your answers. Your answers were very different. That's no big surprise. But I think if you guys, I'll put it in the chat. I don't like to put it in the chat first because people will go right to the website and try to follow along. But I will put it in the chat, and I want you guys to hear this. Now, that said, what we're going to do in these bullet points, and hopefully I'll get through this enough time for some Q&A. We want to rewire the brain by developing our hearing. How are we going to develop our hearing? By active listening. Who knows there's a difference between hearing and listening? And active listening. That's what we want to do. How are we going to do that, Tony? Well, you're going to coach yourself. You are going to create a campaign and slowly drip. You're not going to take the bucket and just dump it into your brain. Oh, I'm going to eat everything positive that I can. That's cool too. But the reason I'm delivering this to you in this manner, because I know there's negative out there, obviously. However, you catch more flies as business owners, going back to my aforementioned question, and I'm not trying to play lawyer on you. I'm trained to zigzag, so keep up. I'm trying to stay focused. You catch more flies with, you heard me say that, right? You catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So I'm saying slowly, you'll get there. We will get there. And I'll come back to that other point later because I'm going to tie all this up together. Next, when you are slowly dripping positive messages in here through active listening, you're going to create what I call rock hard faith. You guys are so very confident in your businesses. You're confident in what you do. You're confident in what you know because you've been hearing and hearing and hearing about travel, hearing and hearing about health, hearing and 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 hearing. To where you know without the shadow of a doubt how important it is to know whatever messages is that are connected to your business. There's not one of you out there who is going to have a conversation about their business and not project confidence because you've heard or read. Next, once you have that rock hard faith, you'll be able to focus in big capital letters. Once you know how to focus and you've got that rock hard faith, and Anna might laugh when I do this because I always do this when I go through this part. Once you have rock hard faith, now you've got courage. Now you have a real backbone. You have a stronger backbone. You have courage to go out on Zooms and meet new people and stretch yourself. But it takes humility to be able to receive messages. When that umbrella is closed and you know everything already, or you're negative, people don't really like being around negative people. Have you noticed that? I say run like hell. You get around people, don't argue with them. Hey, just get away. Treat them like the plague. Okay, and I'm going to move on. Now, once you have that courage, you are in these when you see my website, it'll make sense. You are taking more control. When you have courage, you have the courage to take control. Wimby people that kind of lack a spine don't really take control much. Just kind of sit back and let everyone do it for them. They just kind of watch. They're so meek and humble and nice. Sometimes you got to have a backbone in your family and in your business. That said, once you have that control and you're taking control, you have the ability now to create good judgment, better judgment. Who I'm going to do business with? When am I going to do business with them? Am I going to pull the trigger now or later? Life is about a bunch of start and stops. Should I, shouldn't I? Yes, no. Go, come. So when you have good judgment, that came from all that courage you have from taking control. And you have all that control and courage because you have rock hard faith. That rock hard faith came from those positive messages you've been sending. That said, that good judgment is connected to mastering your time. I can't tell you, if I had a bullhorn, I'm not going to yell at you. It's Monday morning. This is a must. This isn't a I hope you do. You must master your time, not control it, manage it. Mastery. That is something that you have to master. Mastering your time. Once you've mastered your time, you've created the ability, which a lot of us business owners and rocks in our families don't really do very often, is love yourself. Go get yourself a strawberry sundae. You put on your best suit or your best dress and you're not going anywhere. When you have that type of judgment, you've mastered your time, you can take that time to look as good as you all look right now. And when you've done that, you're loving yourself. That's connected to personal growth. That's how you grow personally, by loving yourself. And all this is going to be in the website. So you'll be able to, Tony talked about, you'll be able to click on it and listen to it. It's not my material. It is Dr. Shad Helmstetter. And it suggests that you listen to 10 to 15 minutes a day of positive self-talk affirmations. And at the end here, I'll run through some of the topics that are there. But that's one of them, personal growth, that I highly recommend. Now that you're growing personally, you're loving yourself, that will help you express yourself better. It will help you do demonstrations better. Your presentations to people will be better. Wow, I like to do business with them. What is it about them? Wow, they don't care that their kid broke a glass in the kitchen. They didn't freak out. They said, hey, come on up here and sit on my lap. When you have the power to express yourself and communicate effectively, you've already won. People can tell, oh, you wouldn't want me to be your next presenter, would you? No, not at all. Not really. Well, hey, listen to me. Look what I got. Yeah. I'm important. I know everything. Me. Next. No, not you either. Discipline, self-control, the incredible you. Okay, and then that's going to create a more vivid, visualization where you can explode the quality of your life. When you enter the theater of your mind, some people call it meditation, and you gaze upon the stage of your imagination, amazing things will happen in your business. I can testify, not to impress you, but to impress upon you. I network with people like you that are time managers, active listeners, CEOs, and I have thousands of people in my network. And I say that with humility. And that's because I've entered the theater of my mind and I gaze upon the stage of my imagination and create my world to see people like you. So my quality of life is like my background. Okay, then that's going to make you emboldened. And this is probably the heart of everything I'm talking about. We know as business owners, we have to be bold. Not all the time. Sometimes it's good to sit back, sit down, and zip it. But other times you got to be ready to fire off. And I call that the I am statements and the I can statements. When you say I am feeling good, say it with passion, like Tony Robbins says. Say it like you mean it, because whatever comes after I am, it just got put in here. Or I can, or I don't know, which I really don't like those I don't knows. I will find out. So the I am, whatever you say after that, really matters more than you probably believe. I can, and whatever you say after that. That's the meat of where I'm coming from. Those principles create the incredible you, which will reignite desire. If you don't have desire, you're dead already. I'm sorry. I don't care what the motivation is. Oh, there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or there's an account or a contract at the end. Motivation isn't worth a hill of beans if you don't have desire in your core. You'll just go through the motions because it brings in a paycheck. And then that's also desire is how you defeat problems. And when I end with a little point, I didn't mark the bullet points, but you'll recognize the titles in the website that I'll give you. And then after you defeat problems, you'll start appreciating more a divine order of things. You know what? I do love me. I do love my grandkids. I do love this coworker. I do love this person. And you'll start creating more time for the things you love. The love will crowd out the negativity. And that's how it will allow you to share the power of the good news. And the good news is whatever news you have. We have a promotion right now. We're specializing in this. You start to, what we all need as business people, to win with people. But you got to win in here first. It starts in here, and then there's an outward manifestation of winning. It looks like someone who, and don't be afraid to compliment people who you know are winning, even your competitors. Hey, wow, how'd you get that? How'd this happen? People love to ask you when the gyms are open. I love it when a guy would ask me, hey, what exercise is that? I love to tell them. People love to give free advice, don't we, business owners? Some of us unsolicited advice. And lastly, wash, rinse, repeat, duplicate. I call this the cycle of life and leaving a legacy that never ends. Thanks for letting me talk.
Awesome, Tony. That is, I would say, the first for us, or at least for myself, to see a presentation without slides. So it's actually kind of refreshing to see that and have really great takeaways. Any questions from anybody? Please feel free to unmute or leave it in chat. I had a question, Tony. You mentioned it briefly about kind of connecting folks and bringing folks into your circle that are positive. How do you have any suggestions in that person in your community that is negative, and that is a part of your, I guess, your chat space, and they talk in your Facebook groups, but there's like just a twinge of negativity in it. And of course, I mean, I have a situation like that right now in my Twitch platform that I'm using, and there's obviously a lot more welcomed trolls on the platform there. How do you,
Yes.
yeah, how do you navigate that while being able to show support? This is still your community. You still want to invite them in, but when it comes to some of the negative things, how do you address that?
Great question. Thanks for asking that. I love to attack those types of questions. Um, I don't know if I said it earlier, but there's only a few negative people in the world. They just run around all over the place. But what you do in that instance, Christina, what I would do is, because everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants a platform. Everyone's opinion is the most important to them. So what I would do is try to connect with them and listen to them. They want to be heard. They want to be right, but just let them vent. And once they get that out of their system, now, and for some of you people who have been salespeople your whole life like me, you've heard this a million times. Hey, girlfriend, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way until I found. Feel, felt, found. People want to connect with someone who empathizes with them. Oh, I know what it's like to have zero business in a week. I don't, just kidding. But, everyone can relate to that person, that self-important person that's doing you a favor by meeting with you. And a few people I've Zoomed with in here, this might help you. If I even sniff that someone is doing me a favor by using my product or tool, I'm out of there. But you can't use that strategy, Christina, with that person. Genuinely, you sniff that negativity and you don't really want to run like hell. You kind of ask a really deep, advanced question. Befriend them. Because you've got the courage. You've got the backbone. You've got the nerve. You've got the leadership that's going to swallow that up. When you embolden them and make them feel important, wow, Christina wants to Zoom with me one-on-one. And she did most of the listening. She understands how I feel. She felt the same way. And here comes your whatever way you want to go with it. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I have a question. This is Joe. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you said early on in your presentation that you hadn't always been that positive force that you are now. Can you tell me a little bit about when that was and kind of how you made a transition? Because that's important for me, maybe, that when I bump into someone that may have been, so I can say, I used to feel that way, and I found out that this guy that I know was in this similar place, and this is how he transitioned from that place to where he is now.
I experienced what I call the joy of conversion through my mom and dad. My first classroom was the garden. My parents owned property, so when I had to mow lawn or clean up, I had to clean up apartments. I've seen how people can live. I had to do, that's why my work ethic's probably the way it is, because I was so negative about it. Man, I got 4 yards to cut before I'm gonna be too tired to go play. I was really negative about it. And it's like, oh my goodness, I gotta go do this before I can go play with my friends. Can I just go play? No. The only time play comes before work is in the dictionary. So I was kind of a negative kid until I reached what I call the age of accountability. when in 7th grade, getting clothes for school was a big deal in where I grew up in my neighborhood. What you look like, what you wear. I'm going really old, where you could wear Calvin Klein jeans and Jordache jeans. And those are expensive for my family. But I was able to get them, and my mother told me how. You earn those. You know how much money you're making on your paper route? That was one of many moments when you can show or see in your life where you had a out of body moment, where you got outside of self and go, wow, you know, not to compare yourself to other people. And if you look how bad some people have it, I call it, when you're counting your blessings, it's a slowly transition. Can I put my finger on the date and time? No. But I know because I had confidence in what I was wearing to school and getting on the school bus. And I had a brand new backpack that wasn't getting, I earned it. When you're in that valley and you're not there, look at the things, the little wins that you have, if that helps.
I'm going
Yeah, I
to,
feel you. Mhm.
that was a great question, Joe, an awesome answer. I'm glad Joe actually asked. I was wondering what that turning point in life, what it was like for you to get to here today. I'm going to stop the recording because I know we're probably going to ask some personal questions, but thank you all. If you want to check back the recording, it will be posted on the Net 2.0 membership page. And if you always want to, if some of the questions don't come to fruition right now, you can always ask Tony and reach out to him as well.
Yeah.